Oh my gosh, guys, I have literally been waiting for this chat to start like all day. Apparently, it hasn't started yet. I think I'm a little early. Hi, guys. Can you see me? Let me know when you can see me. I think I started a little bit early and said hello to everyone, but I wasn't on. I don't know. Can you guys see me? I can't see myself. I'm starting to get concerned that you can't see me. Hold on. I will ask here. Oh, have I been on the entire time? Okay, it like freaked me out. I'm like, am I on? Am I not on? Okay, there was an ad. Okay, gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, if I can't do this live chat tonight, I'm gonna freak out because honestly, I thought that last night's episode was the best episode that this show has had. I mean, this is a new show and we're only on episode 6, or that was what we had last night. But it was so good. I thought it was so, 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 so good. And what I really like about this show, and this is kind of the way other ABC shows work, is that they give you information so you're not like always wondering what's going on or waiting until like a season finale or something like that. I don't like the ones like Pretty Little Liars where they just drag it on and on and on and on and on and you don't learn anything. So hopefully it is working for you guys because I see myself now. And you probably saw me just talking to myself for a while. But anyway, I want to know in the comments what you guys think, thought about last night's episode. And I have some ideas about Ben and who that could be. And I just feel like we have a lot to talk about. So I just wanted to shout out the people who are here right now. Anna, Marge, Mark, Tony, and I think Vanessa was here earlier. Maybe she's here now. Who else is here? Samar, I think. Is it Samar, maybe? Yeah, possibly. If you're here and you haven't said hi yet, do that if you want to. But anyway, what do you guys think about it? Something that I think is so cool, I really enjoy following different people involved with whichever shows that I'm interested in. And the people behind the family have been very receptive. They retweet me a lot or they will like my tweets. And that has been like the person who wrote the whole show, like Jenna Bans. The fam writers, that's like the group of people who write the episodes, they're like really good to interact with on social media. And like the executive producer retweeted me today. So I think that is so cool that there's a response like that from the actual people putting the show together, that they're searching, for that hashtag, the family. You don't even have to follow these people for them to recognize you. So if you're someone who enjoys being on Twitter, I would definitely tweet about the show because they are really looking out for people who are fans of the show to like retweet and like, and I just think that's so cool. So Mark says it was completely freaking out after this episode. It was so disturbing when Claire was literally right beside the crate that Adam was in. I know that gave me chills. This show is incredible. I so agree with you. And I've had a couple people ask me lately, like, well, I started watching How to Get Away with Murder. I love that show. Is this a lot like that? And I would have to say that no, I don't think it's anything like How to Get Away with Murder. But on the other hand, I think it's incredible. I mean, I feel like it has the potential to be on that level of How to Get Away with Murder. Hi, Julian, and hi, Christopher. Thank you guys so much for being here. Well, I mean, Tony, it's not actually sponsorships as far as these people just like liking my tweets and stuff. They're just, letting me know that they see it and appreciate it. So as far as what I do, I'm not sponsored by any shows or any networks. That would be really cool. But I just honestly, these are what my feelings about the shows are just my feelings. So, and I think that's good because I would never want to have to be forced to talk good about a show or bad about a show. Well, I guess it would be good about a show because someone was paying me or something. I mean, these are just all my actual thoughts, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's just cool. I think that they probably interact with other people who tweet about the show with the hashtag so they can find it, hashtag the family. But I know Marge had brought this up before, and I don't know if Marge brought this up in one of these chats or maybe just like on my YouTube channel about microchips. If you want to go into more detail about that, and I'll let everyone else know here what you're talking about. This was something I think mentioned in the first or second episode of the show, and then we can talk more about what you're thinking about that now. So let's talk about Willa for a little bit. Good news is that I don't know why ads showed up at the beginning of this. First of all, that's really bizarre, and it delayed it, so I'm really sorry. But anyway, because I think they're supposed to show up once this goes onto my channel. So I'm so sorry. I didn't set it up that way. Hi, Ricky. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's talk about Willa. So some of you guys thought that maybe she had killed her brother, and we're pretty sure that didn't happen. We don't know really what happened to Adam or what has happened or if he's alive or what. But let's talk about Willa in the sense that I really don't know how she met up with Ben. But basically, it appears that she's paying this kid to pretend like he's part of their family. I guess basically because it makes her mom look better or possibly get more votes because her son came back. But I don't really know. I know they're going to explain all of that in next week's episode. But that was a really low move of hers. I mean, I understand she did that because she thought she was helping her mom. But like, she just wasn't thinking clearly, because I feel like that's just, who does that? I mean, you know, she knows how much her mom and dad wanted Adam back, and she pays a random person. I mean, not super random because he did know Adam, but she pays this guy to pretend. It just makes me really upset. So what do you think about that? And then what do you think about Adam? Do you think Adam is alive? And if so, where is he? Because we know they found the place where the boys were being kept, and he wasn't there. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been there for a while. And does Ben know where Adam is or not? So Marge says in the trailer we saw that it was Ben who came up to Willa. Okay. So I just wonder what the involvement is here. What's going on? Why did he approach her? Did he want money? I don't know what the whole deal is here. It's very strange. And what I want to know about Ben is, if he was kidnapped just like Adam and he escaped, then why isn't he wanting to reunite with his family? It's very odd to me that he would agree, or that he would propose the idea of pretending to be someone else. Doesn't he want to be with his family? Anna says, now that Claire knows about Ben, do you think he's going to stay in the family? No, I don't think so. I mean, she's very upset. So I think she's probably going to confront him, or either that or her daughter is going to explain how all of this happened. But I don't know. I think it's crazy because I just don't know how it's going to play out. Ricky wants to know if maybe Ben was an orphan. Someone commented on my channel last night. They thought Ben could actually be the son of Doug. Doug is the kidnapper. That Ben could be Doug's legitimate son with another woman, not the woman he's with now. So Mark says the promo hints that she paid Ben. That's exactly what I was getting from that promo, Mark. To join her family to fix everything the way it used to be with Adam around. I don't think she has an evil motive. I really think she did it as part of, she may have done it because she wanted to reunite the family, but I also really think that she thought that that would be really appealing to voters, to be like, you know, her mom could work on tougher legislation to keep children safe. And hey, look, our son came back after 10 years. I don't know. Ricky says the scene about the appendix and hospital was incredibly shocking. Yes. You know, it's really interesting. And I started to get a little bit upset with the show when I was watching last night, because when Willa lied to the reporter and said that Adam was really Adam and that her mom had an affair, I remember everyone involved with the show tweeting last week over and over that for sure Adam was not Adam. And I started getting PLL vibes, because I was like, surely they wouldn't lie to us, because, you know, Willa was basically saying, yes, it's Adam. Adam just has a different dad. But she was lying. So I was glad that they didn't lie, but they did trick me for a little bit. And I was like, okay, so I believed Willa for a little bit. And I was like, Adam is really Adam then. But then it turns out, of course not, he's actually Ben. I love the way they incorporated him getting flowers and that saying Ben on it. And then when he was coming out of his surgery and his mom was trying to talk to him, he would not answer to Adam. And then when she said, I was sitting there screaming at my TV, like, Ben, that's got to be his name. That's when I realized, you know, it is Ben. At first I thought it was maybe a fake name that the kidnapper gave him, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's his real name. And when she said Ben, he immediately woke up. So Ricky says maybe it was part of her own guilty conscience, because maybe she knows more than she lets on. I definitely think that there's still something else going on with Willa, because you remember she said in the confessional that it had been 10 years since her last true confession. So, or maybe by that she just meant, well, no, that has to be something more, because we know that she was hiding the fact that she was paying this Ben person or working with this guy, but there's something else involved, I feel like. Marge thinks she's very evil for such a religious girl. I definitely think she has so many secrets here, and who knows? Yeah, I know it's a weird thought that it could be the kidnapper's son, but I really like that theory, just because I find it very odd that this guy, not guy, a teenager, wouldn't want to go find his family or just investigate or see if they're still out there or whatever. Now, Rachel's saying you were right about the affair. Well, at first I thought you were, but technically that never happened because she lied and made that up, because she panicked when she realized the reporter knew that Adam wasn't Adam. So she made up the story like, hey, he has a different dad, but he's still Adam. So, but that is still very cool that you thought of that and they actually used that. It just didn't turn out to be true. So definitely who sent the flowers was Doug, who is our kidnapper. I really think that, unless you guys have a different theory. So Mark thinks the actress who plays Willa is great. Was so sad when she was panicking under the desk and when she was crying to Claire at the end. Her crying reminded me kind of Bonnie and How to Get Away with Murder. It was so realistic, and you guys watch a lot of shows and movies and you see a lot of actors and actresses cry, and most of the time it's pretty fake, because I'm sure it's pretty hard. I mean, some tears running down your face, okay, but like sobbing, bawling, I can't even imagine how hard it would be to fake that. But I thought Willa was so great at that, or the actress who plays Willa, her name's Allison. I thought, oh my God, that is so realistic. Ricky thought her last confession was about planting Adam's boat in a suspect's drawer. Okay, so we know she did that too, to make Hank look guilty, right? So maybe that's why. Anna's asking if it was his son, why would he have to live in the bunker? Well, we know that Doug is a really mixed up guy, and my way to explain that is maybe he's punishing his son for some reason, some messed up reason. He didn't want a son or something. I don't know what happened. Maybe the first mom died. The first mom left the son with him. He didn't want a kid, so he punishes him. Probably not true at all. All we know is that Ben was there before Adam, and we do know Doug is still preparing for another person, I guess, unless he's preparing to re-kidnap, Ben, but I don't think so, because he had like a stuffed animal in last week's episode, which means I think he's going to get a child. I thought the scenes with the dog trying to figure out how long, it would take for chloroform, how much it would take to knock you out for how much, a certain amount of time. The fact that he used the dog to lure the real Adam, and the box that he was building for Adam to be, held in, I just feel like it just gives me chills right now to even think about it. Ricky wants to know if I think Doug's girlfriend is involved in any way, because the detective recognized her in the mall vid. Well, she recognized her, and she recognized her not in a bad way. I forgot where she said she knew her from. It wasn't like she was from a criminal or, criminal recognition or something. She knew her. I think that Doug's girlfriend is completely in the dark, but I could be wrong. I think she's completely innocent and clueless and has no idea that her husband, or is it a husband? Are they married? Or are they just dating? Well, anyway, I think that she has no idea. I think she thinks that she thinks he's really the guy he pretends to be to her. So Holly says Ben was very dirty and not taken care of when Adam came. I know. I felt really bad because I was wondering, we know that like he was sexually abused, and I don't know. And like he said, they only got like one good meal a week, and that was like McDonald's. But anyway, Holly thinks that he had Ben for a while. Ben also said, lucky that he's never been alone. So the big question is Adam still alive or is he dead? Does this guy still have him? Yes. I feel like Adam should be alive, because I feel like that's important for the show to keep continuing, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense if he's dead from the start. So yes, if he has him somewhere else. And I think there could be other kids. I've thought that all along. I think there could be other locations with other kids, because this guy is an expert at this. I never heard your theory, Christopher, about Adam and Ben and all that. If you left it on my video, I'm so sorry. I totally missed that, but that's really cool to call that, because I never would have thought that Ben was Ben or whatever. That's good. Mark says Hank's storyline in this episode was hilarious. I never thought that him eating the cake in the bakery would mean something even bigger. That was crazy and disturbing. And I think Andrew McCarthy does a really good job playing Hank, who has so many issues, you know. Doug's wife met Nina at the office, her workplace. She interviewed her at the oil refinery. That's right. How could we forget that? So yes, exactly. Nina, who's the detective, met, it all kind of works together because she met Doug's wife because she was interviewing people wanting to know like who would have access to that oil, whatever you call it, because that's where he was keeping Ben and Adam. And that's why she met her. Because yeah, exactly. Thank you guys. Holly would hate to think Adam is alive and Ben just took his place without getting him help. See, that's what I don't understand here. Like, I don't know if we should really dislike Ben. I don't know what the deal is. And I know they're going to have a good explanation for it, but it makes no sense to me that you've been held captive as a child for years and years and years. And when you get out, someone talks you into pretending to be someone else. Like, the first thing I would want to be doing is trying to find out, is my family still around, or at least, you know, try to figure out where are they. I just think it's so weird. Ricky wants to know, why is Hank taking shots to say a eunuch? Who encouraged that? Was it the desire for children? I'm pretty sure that he is concerned about having desires, you know, inappropriate desires about young boys, because I don't really understand. I think they mentioned he was a sex offender, and I don't know why, before the whole kidnapping thing. But I know the detective said that he had like a lot of child porn on his computer, so that's definitely something that he has a issue with. And I think that he just doesn't want to have any of those types of feelings, so he's taking these shots so that he can kind of react like a person should and not have inappropriate feelings. That's what I think. Marge loves Hank's character. It's weird, but she feels bad for him. You know, the one time I really felt bad for him was when he was in jail in a flashback, and they put like razors in his sandwich, and now he has to check his sandwich all the time to make sure there's nothing strange in it, and that bothered me. Okay, Anna, you are on top of things. Thank you. So it was indecent exposure in a park, which is not hardcore. I mean, it's not as bad as what the kidnapper is doing, but it's still not good. And it doesn't take a lot to get you arrested and labeled as a sex offender. And I mean, that's a good thing. But I'm saying, you know, once you have that on your arrest record, it's bad, very bad for you. Thank you so much. And Ricky said the very same thing. Thank you. Okay. So Christopher is asking, how did Willa even find Ben? That's what we don't know. And I do think it's going to be explained next week, because that's what it looked like from the promo. And they're really good about explaining things. I want to ask you guys something else that confused me a little bit. So maybe I missed something. So I understand they wanted to use Adam. After this week, we can start calling him Ben. But they wanted to use him as bait to see if they could catch the kidnapper. So I know he had that press conference, he wore the plaid shirt, and he mentioned something about the different places that he missed. But how did he know? How did they think that just because he mentioned Bill's Burgers at the mall, that the kidnapper and him would be there at the very same time on the very same day? That seemed kind of far-fetched to me, but maybe I missed something. I just found it very odd that they picked this random time of day, you know, the FBI and Ben, to go to the mall. And it just so happened that Doug was there with his wife, and he just so happened to look into the food court and see him. So yeah, I mean, I just felt like that was strange and it didn't seem very realistic. And the show has seemed incredibly realistic throughout. So I thought maybe I missed something there, or because I just felt like, you know, it's kind of far-fetched to think that if you go to the mall and the food court at your favorite place, that the kidnapper is going to be looking, you know, hanging out there for you just in case you could be there every day. I don't know. But so Ricky says Ben said it to the reporters outside his house when he's leaving the driveway. Yeah, I know, but that's what Anna's saying it didn't quite add up. And I was like, did I miss something? Did he say something in the press conference like, and tomorrow at noon, I'm going to Bill's Burgers? Like, I just felt like that was kind of a stretch, unless he did say something like, you know, I'm going to go there tomorrow or whatever. So he did say he was going tomorrow. How did I not hear that? Okay. So that makes more sense. I mean, it would still kind of be weird about what time he would be there, but very good. Thank you guys. So that makes sense. So basically what Doug did is he told his wife, like, she should go shop for clothes for the baby. We definitely know Doug was watching the news because they were like eating breakfast, him and his wife, and he actually turned it off. Yeah, so I mean, that's a good question, Anna. Does Doug realize that Ben is working for the family of Adam? What is their last name? Is it Warner? I can't think of their last name. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is, considering what a high profile person Adam's mom is, Claire, do you think that there was any reasoning behind Doug kidnapping Adam other than he just, saw a boy and saw the opportunity? Or do you think he planned out to get this exact boy? Because it seemed like he had a lot prepared to kidnap someone by building the box, and he seemed to know he was going to kidnap someone that day. But do you think he was just going to kidnap any random kid, or do you think he specifically went after Adam? Warren, thank you. I think he specifically went after Adam, and I think this could be tied into something with Claire. That's what I think. Okay, so Mark said he said tomorrow, and it makes sense that Ben would go to lunch at noon. Okay, I can buy that now. That makes more sense now because I never heard the I'm going to Bill's Burgers or the mall tomorrow. So I was just like, how would Doug even know, For a long time till last night, I didn't know Doug's name was Doug, and I was tired of calling him the kidnapper because he's a big character in the show. So I Googled it, and they were like, it's Doug. So now I can call him Doug. So anyway, that makes me happy because I just didn't catch his name before. Very good question that Mark says, why do I think Ben has that key and what's it for? Don't know. But here's the thing, is Ben a villain or what? I mean, we know the kid was kidnapped and treated bad, so I feel kind of bad for him. But what the heck? Why is he doing this? Why is he pretending to be someone else's kid? That's so terrible. So Ricky says it showed in the park how Doug went right up to him and invited him over to feed the dog. I definitely think Adam was a target, and he had picked him out before that day. Hi, Leah. Thank you so much for being here. Anna says it appears he has a type. Ben and Adam both have similar features. Right, so black-haired boys, similar-looking guys, actually, absolutely similar-looking boys. So Ricky says what amazes me is Claire and the detective both interacted with Doug while Adam was kidnapped. Very amazing. Claire, met him outside. I think she was asking about her missing son, and then he actually was interviewed about what he was doing because he was doing something at the park with birdhouses. I think it was pretty dumb on his part to say that he did see Adam and then Adam came up to look at the birdhouses. And I think that might come back to haunt him. I'm very excited that he left his jacket at the mall and they were able to test it and figure out that he had a dog. And what I'm kind of wondering is, will Doug be somebody who carries on through the entire series? Or is this going to be something that gets resolved with him near the end and he gets, end of the season and he gets arrested? They did say, the writers of this show said last night that we have 6 more episodes this season. But what I don't know, maybe one of you know this, is are they splitting up this season like a lot of the ABC shows do, where we just get a couple more and then we have to wait for the rest, or what? And I know they said 6 more episodes, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I thought, well, that is for this entire season, but maybe they meant before we have a break, but that seems like a lot, so I don't know, because we've already had 6 episodes. So Christopher says, I wonder if Ben knows where Adam is, and he will use that against the family. I feel like there's a great chance he could know, but I also feel like he might not know. So, for example, maybe at some point, Ben got moved to another location, or Adam was moved out of that location and put somewhere else. And like I said, just because we haven't seen it, I don't think it means that there can't be more locations with more boys, and there may be a location where Adam is by himself, or maybe he's with others, or maybe there's, other locations. I know that the guy is preparing this place right by his house, but just because they haven't shown us other places doesn't mean he doesn't kidnap other people. It doesn't have them currently. Ricky felt like if he said nothing about seeing Adam, that would have come off as even more suspicious. Like, why was he even there? So, okay, but I guess, he kind of had a role there, right? Wasn't he selling birdhouses or something? So, I don't know, but maybe he was just covering for himself in case somebody said that they saw him talking to him. You know, they saw Adam talking to this dark-haired guy with, they keep saying he has acne scars, but I don't see them, but maybe I'm not looking close enough or something, not looking at because I'm always watching it kind of from a distance. So Anna says, do you think it's merely a coincidence that the characters' names are John and Adam Warren? I'm so glad you asked this. John and Adam Warren, like John and Adam Walsh. Now, a lot of people are not going to know who those people are, but John Walsh was the host, well, before, he had a different life before this, but he was America's Most Wanted. It was a show, I think in the 80s, where they would try to find actual criminals by showing their picture on TV and giving their backstory. It's such a terrible story. And I actually just watched maybe a few months ago a documentary about the Walshes. And when I heard their names with Warren, I immediately thought of Adam Walsh, because John Walsh's son Adam was abducted at a store, maybe like a Kmart or something back in the 80s. Very sad because he was murdered. But it was a big, huge deal many, many years ago. So I think that's really cool that you bring that up. And if you don't know anything about that, it's worth Googling, because it's a very, very, very sad story. But his dad was able to help a lot of people by starting America's Most Wanted, because they solved a lot of crimes that way. And his dad wasn't even involved in anything like that before his son was abducted. Okay. So King thinks that Adam died young, so you think he might have been killed, and which is sad. I hate that. Like, I don't want him to be dead. That makes me so sad. So Vera says he has dents in his face like meth heads do. Yeah, I kind of get that. I was just kind of thinking of somebody with, like, you know, you could tell they used to have acne or something, and I don't see that, but I don't know. So Mark says this season just has 6 more episodes and that's it. Then we'll have to hope it gets renewed for season 2. This show, it would very much concern me and bother me if it doesn't get renewed, because it's really, really, really good. I think you guys feel the same way. And some people were telling me last night that it has some bad reviews, like on Rotten Tomatoes. And I just don't understand it, because I feel like every episode's really good. And I can't really find a reason to, you know, dislike it or say something bad about it. Like, I'm just really shocked if people hate it that much, and we like hate it enough to go online and give it like a low rating or whatever. But I know ratings are also from just people watching or not watching. So because I love it so much, I try to talk about it a lot on social media and get more of you guys watching. So I would just, if you guys talk to your friends, and again, I'm not sponsored at all, but I want this show to be, you know, I want there to be a season 2. So I would, you know, really tweet about it and tell people about it and be like, you know, this is good. You need to start watching it, just because more people need to learn about it, you know? So Ricky also thinks that Adam died young. Hi, Court. Thank you so much for being here. Vera says the first thing you thought of when the show started was John and Adam Walsh. And literally it happened probably before a lot of us were born. I mean, I don't know, but it happened a long, long time ago, you know. I want to say 70s or 80s. I'm not really sure. But, you know, if you seriously Google that story, John Walsh, America's Most Wanted, it's very interesting. Tony says if Quantico got renewed from the family, then the family should get a season 2. I agree that Quantico, although the first half of Quantico was really good, but I haven't watched last night's episode. I am DVRing this season, and I am going to watch it. But I watched last week's Quantico, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not doing these videos anymore, because this wasn't good. Mark cannot wait for Doug to die. I have a feeling the real Adam will be alive and kill him. Then season 2 will be like, how to get away with murder, and they have to cover up the murder. Doug is awful, but I sent a tweet to the actor last night, because I think that he is incredible, because he can play like this awesome husband who is so great to his pregnant wife and all this stuff. And then you saw him staring at Ben in the mall, and he was giving him the creepiest stare. And Ben is absolutely terrified of him. He gets sick when he sees him or sees his picture. So I think the actor is very underrated. I looked him up, and he hasn't really done a lot of stuff. And I just think, wow, I can't stand his character, but I think that guy's killing it playing that role. So Mark says, I see people disliking it because they're not getting enough answers. I don't understand. After watching episodes 5 and 6, with that dream logic, how is PLL so popular? I think that PLL is popular just because it caters to a younger demographic. A lot of people who watch PLL are, you know, in middle school. Some of you guys may be too, and that's not to say there's anything wrong with that, but this show is probably, they were thinking for more of an older crowd. But some people just watch PLL for the relationships and for the fashion, and don't really care as much about if it makes sense. Just because of some of the comments I get on my videos, I can tell too that people are like younger. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes people will tell me they're like 11 or 12 and they're mad at me about PLL, which is fine. But, you know, I don't think sometimes people, I don't know, you know, because it seems like there's still people who would, even though you're not in middle school, would really like this show. And I just feel like it hasn't probably gotten enough attention and it's not popular enough yet. That's kind of what I think. I think that How to Get Away with Murder had some issues too, but now it's really, you know, people kind of gave it some bad reviews, but okay. So Vera thinks it's kind of confusing at first, but if you're interested to see what happens, it keeps you watching. Yeah, I think that it's, you know, somewhat confusing, but they give you so many answers, and I really like that. King thinks that Hank and Doug are either brothers or they're in a pedophile group. That's interesting because you know, I know Andrew McCarthy is you know, a pretty famous actor, but I have to wonder on the show always, like, why is he such a central character every week? And there has to be more to him than just the fact that he was accused falsely of kidnapping Adam. So I agree, King, that there has to be something else going on with him that we don't know, because after a while, it just, who cares that he, you know, didn't kidnap Adam and he has some issues? I mean, why do we have him in every episode at some point, you know? So Ricky says Doug may have looked at Ben like that because he was mad at Ben for taking it this far. Maybe he knew he was being watched. Another great point. For all we know, Ben and Doug are working together, you know. I do definitely think he was abused. I'm not going to say he wasn't treated poorly, but at this point, they may have some arrangement. He may not have really escaped. He may have been let out for some reason to you know, especially if Ben is the one who approaches Willa, then there's some reason that Doug wants to get in with, you know, Adam's family. Maybe, I don't know what the deal is, but there's something more to that. Vera thought it was stupid that no one saw who he was looking at, but ran up to him and said, shake my head, I was confused. It was annoying that the FBI had trouble finding him. And to be honest, Ben's description of him was really bad. He stalled forever. They're like, what did he look like? What did he look like? He was like, oh, I think his hair was longer. He was like, oh, he had a blue jacket on. I mean, I just feel like if it were me, and I understand he was sick at the sight of him and everything, but I just think like I would be like, yeah, I mean, he, you know, I saw him, he went this way and blah, 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 because I want him to get caught. Ricky thinks it was also implied that he knew where Adam was. He just didn't say anything. How he kept him there is what John said to Hank. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Ben's real deal is and if he is working with Doug or what. What is Stockholm Syndrome? Where you sympathize with your captor? Is that what that is? Do I think is it Bridie? Is that how you say that person's name? Who's like the reporter girl? Has real feelings for Willa. I still think that she's using her because you saw how she used her brother. She still feels like she's got a big story she can break here, even though Willa's trying to tell her that it's really Adam. I think she doesn't probably believe her, and she still hopes to keep the family close so she can get like a big story and get like famous or something. That's what I think. So tomorrow I'm going to be having my in-depth video go live about this show. And if you're just catching my live chat on this for the first time, or if you're seeing this on another date, and you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel because I'm covering the entire first season and the seasons after that of the family because I love it so much. But all the other shows that I cover on my YouTube channel are mysteries, and I'm just waiting for some to return for their next season, and I may add a couple as we go on. But if you guys have anything that we haven't talked about or any comments you haven't made yet or questions, we can take a few more of those, and we'll probably wrap it up here in just a little bit. But this has been like such a great conversation, probably the best one we've had about this show. And I knew this would be a show where it got more intense as each episode came along, and it would be something that we could start really talking about more and more and more each week and have more theories on. So I know I've told Vanessa, I've talked to her about this a few times about The Catch. I still haven't watched it. I do have the episode, is it 2 episodes that I've missed? I know, like, I've talked to some of my friends in real life, and they didn't really like it, so I was kind of going off what they were saying, but I know Vanessa kind of likes it, and some other people have been tweeting me about it. So I've got to give it a chance because I can't judge it based on my friends not really liking it or you guys liking it. You know, that's not fair. So I'm going to definitely try to watch it later this week when I have some free time, and I'll let you know. And the way I feel about covering new shows, if the first episode or the first couple episodes don't captivate me, I'm not going to do it, just because I was really into Quantico and that went bad fast and I had to ditch that, and I just really want to be selective about what shows I choose, and if I don't like them from the first couple episodes, I'm not really going to stick around for like the whole season to see. I know the Blacklist apparently is amazing. Believe me, everyone's told me. I feel like I'm kind of behind because I know I've missed quite a bit of that, but everyone I know loves that. Do I think Hank's love interest will be reoccurring? No, I don't really think so. I felt that was kind of weird, and like, she was so randomly pursuing him, like she was so aggressively pursuing him, that at first I kind of thought, like, is she working with someone else? Is she undercover? Is she like a reporter? What's her deal? But I don't know. So Mark says, what if Ben is Doug's son? I agree. And Doug used to be married to the bakery woman. Doug kidnapped Ben and ran away. Now the bakery woman has fallen in love with Hank after having her heart broken. Well, that's interesting. Could be. I don't know. I mean, I still think there's a great possibility that Ben is Doug's son, just because why is this kid not out there looking for his family? So he escapes, and the first thing he does is agree to pretend to be another missing kid. I don't buy that unless he knew his parents were dead or something, but still he's got to have some other family, right? I don't know. So Mark says the opening scene for episode 2 of The Catch is gone against everything it promoted. So he didn't watch it and he's done with the show already. So what I'm going to do, I have the first 2 episodes like on DVR, and I'm going to watch those, and I'll make my decision then. I don't want to get like, you know, watching it every week if I think I don't like it. But I'll keep an open mind going into it. And, you know, the other thing that like turns me off about that show is that The Killing was a show that I really liked, and then it got really bad. And the same actress who was the lead in The Killing is the lead in this. And literally it got to the point where I couldn't look at her anymore on The Killing because she upset me that much. And I know she looks so different in this show, but still I can't stop thinking like, oh my God, it's The Killing woman. I don't think there's enough substance about the bakery woman. I think the bakery woman was in one, you know, I think she's done with the show, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I know. I mean, right. I mean, I'm not going to read that, what King said, but this girl, bakery woman, was like so overly aggressive. I just found it weird to the point that I really thought she was acting or she wanted something from him. You know, honestly, I was just like, what is her freaking deal? She was like all over him. She, you know, she made a point to come to his house and pretend to sign him up for some club or whatever. And this guy was the guy who came in, and he was, how would you want to go out with this guy? He was the weirdest guy ever. He was so weird in that bakery store. He was eating the cake right from the middle. I guess he ate the entire cake there. What kind of normal person would want to pursue that guy? So obviously she's completely messed up. Something's not right there. But anyway, that's so funny. But I'm just going to wrap it up here. But I just want to thank you guys so much for being a part of this chat today and for all of your awesome theories. I just loved our chat. And if you think of something, this will be up later. Like if you think of something that we didn't talk about, you can comment on this video later. It'll be up in like 5 or 10 minutes on my channel. And of course, I'll have the new video up tomorrow. Yeah, so Ricky says she didn't even know who he was. He had to tell her to Google him, but maybe she did know who he was because girlfriend was crazy. Like she was just, and it was like, I thought she had some weird fetish. Like she was weird. I think she did know who he was because she was like an animal. Like, I don't understand. I mean, it would be one thing if he was like some super hot guy that was acting sort of normal, but he was like a creepy, weird guy who came into her bakery and acted really creepy. And most people would never want to see him again. I don't know. So, but anyway, I'm going to get off here, and I hope you guys have a good day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are. Wait, I'll read Kathleen's comment. I think the bakery woman was just to make Hank decide to take the drug to make him a eunuch. He said after that he would rather be a eunuch than a monster. And thank you for being here, Kathleen. But yeah, I mean, it's sad that he has to go to those extremes, but he's a really messed up guy. So thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow with a new video. Bye, guys.